Hi, listeners, and welcome to my Holland Update. I'm Marianne Manderfield, Public Information Coordinator for the city, and today we've got two guests, the city's Director of Parks and Recreation, Andy Kenyon, and Deputy Director, Jamie Scott. Hi, guys.
Hey, thanks for
How you
having
doing?
us.
Thank you.
Sure. Welcome to the podcast, and thanks for taking time to talk with us today. We are going to talk about all things trees within the city and the city's urban canopy. Before we start, though, just so that people get a sense of how much you all do, how many trees do we have that you guys maintain and take care of about?
I'd say we have close to about 15,000 trees in the right-of-way in parks,
Wow,
so quite a few.
quite a
That's a
few.
lot.
That is a
Yeah.
lot. And your team, how many on your team that within the Parks Department takes care of these trees?
Within the Parks Department, we have a staff of 4 full-time members that go out and take care of these trees.
Okay.
That involves trimming, pruning, emergency storm cleanup, planting, removals. So anything related to a tree, those 4 guys handle it all.
That's a lot for 4 people.
It is.
Yeah. And you've got one staffer that's got quite longevity, right?
Yep, we have one. He's been here a while. He brings a lot of knowledge to the team. He's been here with the city 28 years.
Okay.
Yep,
Wow. That is a lot of knowledge.
it is. It's indispensable knowledge.
Yes. So starting out, what's your overarching philosophy when planting trees in the urban canopy?
Yeah, so we have a goal every year to try to plant more trees than we remove. Sometimes we hit that goal, sometimes we don't. If you remember back a few years, we had the emerald ash borer bug that came in and
Right.
just devastated all the ash trees. And of course, we didn't plant more than we removed then,
Sure.
which was unfortunate. But every year we try to do that. We try to increase our urban canopy. We did a urban tree canopy assessment back in 2014. It's a
Okay.
little bit older, but that's kind of set our goal back then we'd love to have a percentage of about 30 to 35% throughout the city. And that's including the entire city, so private property and public all combined.
Okay. So kind of the baseline
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
What are some avenues for planting?
So I don't know. We really plant along the road right of way, as Jamie mentioned a little bit ago. That's typically the area between the sidewalk and the roadway. We plant there. When we remove one, we like to put some back if it is appropriate. Sometimes with urban sprawl, you can't plant exactly where you removed one, and that's okay. We find another spot to put it. We've been working really well with the transportation department here within the city to plant trees behind them when they do road work. So,
Okay.
for example, on 6th Street, we're getting ready that road is under construction now, and then this fall or next spring, they'll plant trees behind there. And so it's really nice. Pine Avenue is another great example
Sure.
that's just recently been planted in the last week or two.
Right.
They did the road work last year, and then they're planting there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you work with the residents along that right of way in terms of telling them how to maybe take care of those trees along the right of way?
Yep, a lot of times we will engage with those residents on the front side and see if there's a particular tree they want to have.
Okay.
And if it fits the list of the approved trees that could be under power lines or within a right-of-way to reduce visible obstructions, then we move forward and try to plant that tree for them. So when we plant that tree, a lot of times the homeowner is given care instructions on how to
Okay.
water it and how to maintain it and make sure that tree survives.
Great. We're also, another avenue for planting, we're working with BPW right now on a program for free trees. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what's this, year 4, I think we've done this?
Yeah, year
Fourth
4.
year?
Yes.
So this September, I think I'm going to get the date wrong. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
It's coming up.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. And then people get a notice in their bills. They have a little flyer that goes in, tells them about it. But anyway, yeah, so we've been working with the BPW to increase, like I mentioned earlier, our urban tree canopy. We have to plant trees on private property. And so the BPW has a free tree giveaway that they do. If you get BPW electricity and I believe water now,
Yes.
you're going to be able to qualify to get a free tree. And you go on their website and there's instructions on how to do it. And the Arbor Day Foundation has set up the parameters in this program with all the specifics. And you can sign up for a tree, and then later in September we'll have I don't know, it's about a 4-hour day or
Yep.
something like that.
September 9th
Okay, you found the
is,
date. Good.
that was the date, and it's Saturday morning, and there's a 4-hour window of time that you come pick up your tree. Important to bring the email or notification you got from the BPW so we could verify that you get the correct tree. And we load you up, and you go home and plant your tree and maintain it, and hopefully good things happen.
Yeah, that website even will tell everybody where to plant it for
Right.
getting the best, if you want shade, if
Right.
it's for stormwater runoff, things like that. It'll tell you where to put it.
Because that could be in their backyard, their side yard.
Could be,
Yeah,
yep.
it could be anywhere within
Absolutely,
their yard.
yeah.
And that registration is still open, correct?
It is, yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, so they could go on BPW's website.
Correct. Yeah, I think that that runs for a while yet.
Correct.
So, yeah,
Okay.
which is great.
So BPW's website, if you're looking for a free tree, go on there and you can register.
Correct.
Okay, great. And then grants, you guys do some grants too for free trees.
Yeah, we do. We've had success a few times in the past. We did a great big one with the GLTE, which is the Great Lakes. No, not the X. That's not the right acronym.
No.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was through the Great Lakes Restoration Institute.
Okay.
I mean, it's I, not a T. Yeah, that was a huge grant. We got $100,000 a few years back to plant trees.
Wow.
This year, we're working with our grant coordinator to help us apply for another grant, which is a state-funded grant that will either have us participate in a planting program or some kind of technology that we might be able to get to help us with our tree work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
What type of technology would that be?
So,
Or
yeah,
tell us an example of
yeah,
what
sure.
that is.
So we're looking to have tablets that our tree crew members can use that will help them with work orders. It'll help us remove and add trees to our inventory at the time of when they do those work. So if they plant a tree, they can add it immediately. If they remove a tree, they can remove it immediately.
Nice.
Then it takes it in and out of our inventory instantly, which is awesome.
So in real time.
Real time, yep.
Nice.
So which will be great.
Okay.
So there's a couple options there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So all these trees that you've planted, they need maintenance. Tell us a little bit about how you all go about maintaining all these 15,000 trees.
We get requests from homeowners online or via phone or even just out in the streets when we're out working. And so our staff will take out all the equipment. We've got 2 chipper trucks, we've got a stump grinding truck, 2 dump trucks, and a big bucket truck, and all the associated loaders. So we have all the equipment to do the job. And we go forth and do what needs to be done. Sometimes the job is simple. It's just removing a tree branch that might be interfering with somebody's driveway or visibility issue, or sometimes it's a large tree, and sometimes we have to subcontract a crane operator to help us take this large tree down. So if there's a tree if it's tree involved, our guys are doing it.
Okay.
So, yep.
So if I'm a resident and there's a tree in the right of way that, say, a large limb has fallen, how would I go about letting the Parks Department know that that needs some tending to?
Yep, we have a couple different options. Number one, you could call the office and talk to somebody in real time, and they will take down the information and get it to our forestry supervisor, and they will go out, take a look. Second option is you could go online to the City of Holland website, and in the drop-down menu, How Do I, there is a tab for Forestry Submit. You could request you could request work to be done on
Okay.
a tree that you think is in the right of way, and we will come out and assess it and do what's needed. So,
Okay.
yep,
So either online or walk in or phone call to the Parks Department.
absolutely.
And I'll add that most of the things Jamie just mentioned are kind of routine things for us.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a storm, if there's an emergency and a tree has fallen across the roadway or things like that, feel free to reach out and call 911, and then they dispatch us out to take care of that emergency.
Okay.
So if it's just a standard trimming or, hey, my tree needs to be looked at, we think it's dying or dead, the forestry foreman calling our office is great. But if it's an emergency, please do call.
So call 911 for that.
Yep, for emergencies.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Good
sure.
to know. Good
Yep,
to know.
yep.
So you guys not necessarily working just during the day, but you've got staff on call, I would expect, correct?
Absolutely. Dispatch could call us any time of the day or night, 24/7. So we are always ready and able. We kind of monitor the weather.
Okay.
And we kind of understand that with weather events that we have to be ready. And oddly enough, more trees usually come down after a storm than during the storm.
Really?
Yes.
And why is that?
A lot of times the storm will stress the tree, and maybe crack a limb, and it's perfectly fine. But maybe humid conditions or rain or just a little bit of extra wind from a different direction will cause that tree to fail.
Okay.
And then,
Interesting.
yeah, very much so. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if we get heavy rain especially, it kind of soaks in and
Okay.
over the course of a few days, and then a couple days later, it's weak at the bottom and just tips
Okay.
over.
Yep.
Okay.
Happens.
So that kind of leads us into the last phase of there are times when trees obviously need to be removed. So storm damage, one of those. Potentially, what are some other reasons?
Yeah, so a lot of times is disease. It could just be age too. Sometimes trees age out. We joke, but there was a massive flash sale probably about 80 to 100 years ago, and everybody bought or purchased silver maple trees. So we have a lot of silver maples in our city that are aging out now. And so
okay.
they're starting to fail or get dead limbs in the top and things like that.
Okay.
We have disease from time to time. I mentioned emerald ash borer earlier. That's a bug and a pest that we have to deal with, and there's a few others. But I think overall, our urban canopy in the city is quite healthy. We do absolutely have trees that we have to work on and take down and work on, but overall, we're sitting pretty good.
And when you take those trees down, the city does a lot to repurpose them and reuse them in a variety of different ways. One that got some notoriety not too long ago was the big elm tree in Centennial Park.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we took down this elm tree. We believe it's a tree that probably aged out. That was, after I counted the rings, it was about 165, 170 years
Wow.
old. So it had been there for quite a while.
I guess so.
Really long time.
Yes.
Unfortunately, trees don't last forever, so we
Sure.
kind of concluded that it was done.
Yeah.
And we cut this tree down, and it was disappointing to see this tree come down and just the mass of material that was left over. And I looked at my forestry supervisor and said, we have to do something. We need to do something with this. So I had him call the Holland Bowl Mill on the north side of Holland off of James. And they gladly accepted a large chunk of that elm, and they made bowls out of it.
Nice.
So we repurposed that tree, and it lives on.
Yes. Yeah. Well, a tree like that needs to live on.
Yep.
But you all do a lot of different things too
Yeah.
with trees that you have to remove. Tell us about some of those things ways that you repurpose the trees.
Yeah, so we've done lots of different things over the course of time, and we've milled logs into boards. We've done that a lot.
Okay.
We've added wainscoting at the Parks and Recreation office. It's all over the office, a combination of maple and walnut, and those were 3 trees that came down about 15 years ago, and we redid the offices. We've
That seems appropriate
Yeah,
to have those
for
trees
sure.
go back to the Parks Department.
Absolutely. And we've
Nice.
done other things. So Veneralty Farm got some new wood installed this past spring, and
Okay.
we've updated that. One thing that we've been hot on recently is taking full logs to the Outdoor Discovery Center for use in nature-based playgrounds.
Oh, sure. They've done a lot of those
Yeah, so
recently.
The Sally Smalley one at Window Waterfront was the one that we at the city have, but they're building those playgrounds all over West
They are.
Michigan, and so they need a ton of material. I think, what'd you say, 3,000 linear feet of logs
Oh,
this
my
year?
word.
Yes.
And so
Wow.
we've been supplying them with lots and lots of logs.
That's awesome.
So it's great for us.
Sure.
And that's just the logs, and we chip up a lot of branches and things, and those chips get used on pathways and at Veneralty Farm, DeGraff Nature Center. People will talk about it, I think, but people can get some of this material too.
Okay.
If they fill out the right form at our office. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could, as a resident, come in and get wood chips.
correct. So we have a forestry yard. That's what we call it. It's
Okay.
not named that, but we call it that in house. It's at 3rd and Pine, and if it's where we store all of our big logs that we can't use for things and all of our chips. And people can come into our office at 429 East 24th. That's the Parks and Rec office, and fill out a free waiver form that just gives you permission to be in there, and you can take any of the material that you'd like. Sometimes we have semi trucks come in there and take loads and loads of things out, and other times we have people who just pick up trucks or trailers and load up a few yards and take it back. It's not great material for like landscaping,
Sure.
but it's really good for ground cover if you're creating a pathway and things like that. It's pretty chewed up, but it works.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then it helps you guys out in terms of a way of disposing, so to speak,
It
of
does.
that.
Another avenue of getting
Sure.
that material used, and it doesn't
Right.
go to waste.
Nice.
So, great.
All goes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to tell us about?
Yeah,
Trees?
yeah. I don't know if you know this, but Van Rolte Farm has the largest hemlock in the state of Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yep. It is a towering hemlock. I've never seen one so big before. So it's justified that it is the largest in Michigan. So
That is a fun fact.
Find that.
yep. So I'll send you on an adventure at Van Rolte to find the largest hemlock.
We should do a little scavenger hunt or
There
something.
you go.
That's
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea about how old that tree is?
I don't.
Okay.
Without
don't.
cutting it down.
Yeah, without cutting
Oh,
it down.
well, we don't want to do
No, we're
that
not
until
doing
it's
that.
time,
Nope.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there is another way. There is a way that you all have inventoried your trees, and that's utilizing a new app that's out there, the TreeSap app. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So we've the city of Holland has worked with Hope College and a nonprofit Holland and Bloom, and we set forth and started inventorying all of the trees in our parks and right of ways. And so Hope College, their tech department developed an app called the TreeSap, trees and then app. And it basically inventories every single tree. Any user with that app on Apple or Android could walk up to any tree in the right of way or a park and identify it. And it'll tell you how big it is, approximate age, and it'll tell you the environmental benefits too that
Oh,
tree
wow.
possesses and
Okay.
gives back. So carbon offset, kind of shade, reducing pollution. So kind of like an ingredients on the ingredients list on the
Nice.
side of a cereal box. It'll tell you all those different things that tree can do for you. So
Very
we're
interesting.
really excited to have that in our system and allow the public to use it. So
Sure. So anybody free app, I take
it's
it?
a free app,
Free
absolutely.
app,
Yep.
available on the App Store
Yep.
for Android and iOS?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's great for tree enthusiasts, school groups, anybody that's
Yeah.
looking to just walk by and say, hey, what kind of tree is that?
Even homeowners.
Yeah.
Even homeowners that aren't tree savvy and
Sure.
they want to see what kind of tree they have in their front yard, or even see what is down the road. They might like a particular color in the fall, and they could go and go right up next to it, and it'll pinpoint exactly which tree you're at, and it'll tell you what it is.
Nice.
And it's pretty new, so we're still working
Yes.
at it. So if it's got a couple glitches yet, and we're just
Okay.
figuring that out.
Okay.
And then also, as I mentioned earlier, that is a thing that we're going to be updating. So we're going to be able to add all the trees we plant and all the trees we remove. So if you go to a spot and there's no tree and it says there's a tree, it's just because we haven't gotten
Okay.
there yet.
So it's your real-time avenue
Yeah.
for the inventory.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That is the goal. Again, with 15,000 trees and
Right.
4 people that maintain them.
It'll take us a little while.
Take a little while.
I'm
But
just
this,
trying to.
but this was a big lift. So
It
this
is.
was was an absolute phenomenal thing to do
Sure.
and to collaborate with Hope on. It was great, and we were trying to find other communities in the area that have this, and we can't find any. So
Okay.
we are really unique and very fortunate to have great partners and that have the ability to come up with things like this for us to do and to work with. So
Sure.
it's a great tool for the community.
And just one more partnership that the city, does
Yeah.
and does with Hope College, and like you said, mentioned Holland and Bloom. That's
Yep.
a partnership of three groups there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice. Anything else you guys want to tell us about the trees or maintaining, planting?
Come watch the tree climbing
Oh,
competition in
yes.
September out at Prospect Park. That's coming up soon, and we'll advertise that real quick too. But that's going to be awesome. We've done it in the past, and
Okay.
they really enjoy being here in the city, and we love having them. So it's great.
That would be something that's open to the public that they can come to and.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. So stay tuned for that in September, tree climbing competition, Prospect Park.
Prospect
Sure.
Park, yep.
Yep. It's gonna be
Okay.
cool.
And then just a couple things to note. They can get the form under How Do I Submit if they're looking to have tree maintenance done on the right-of-way.
Yep.
Correct.
They can walk into the Parks Department to get the form for wood chips or items in the
Forestry
yard,
yard,
forestry
yep.
yard. Okay, and give us the address again for Parks.
So our office is at 429 East 24th.
Okay,
It's just west of US 31, right on 24th Street.
okay. And you guys are open, what, 8 to
Yeah, 8 to 4.
8 to 4?
Yep.
Monday through Friday?
Yep.
Okay,
Correct.
all right, great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
You're
for having
welcome.
us.
Sure. Until next time, this is my Holland Update.